They have signs, but they're not line 3.
It builds a Line 3 tar sands pipeline through the Anishinaabe land in Minnesota without the consent of the indigenous peoples who live there. Line 3 would contribute as much climate change as building 50 new coal-fired power plants, and it would endanger more than 800 wetlands and 200 waterways. As pipeline construction continues, grassroots resistance daily becomes more powerful. More than 80 people have been arrested for taking direct action to stop the pipeline construction. Some of them chaining themselves to pieces of pipe, sitting in trees in the path of construction, and locking themselves by their necks to the excavators. All of this during a northern Minnesota winter with below zero temperatures. Now, I'm cold today, but man, those people are something else. More than 200,000 people have signed a petition demanding that President Biden take executive action to stop the fossil fuel fiasco. The climate movement has dramatically grown in power, with millions of people taking to the streets around the world to demand climate action now. This resistance will only grow more intense. As a prime financial enabler of this tar sands climate bomb, your bank is now on notice. Providing financing for Enbridge poses significant social risk to your company and to your reputation. Your company should walk away from Enbridge and the Line 3 pipeline to avoid the brand damage that will inevitably occur if you fail to do so. Very sincerely yours, Peter, for Extinction Rebellion, New Hampshire. I want to conclude with 2 personal requests. First, go to stopthemoneypipeline.com, which is where I got some of this letter, and stopline3.org to find out more about this catastrophe. And then second, as we all know, Bank of America has a presence here in Keene. But does Bank of America or Chase Bank or Wells Fargo or Citibank also have a presence in your wallet or financial life?
No.
If so, I implore you to come clean and find an alternative credit card or bank that does not finance fossil fuel development. Do it today. Put your personal business in good climate order and breathe easier. Thank you. Anybody else have anything they would like to say?
Hello there. My name is Brett Charrington. I'm a representative of Extinction Rebellion, New Hampshire. And I would like to start with the land acknowledgement. We are meeting on Pennacook tribal lands, part of Endakana, the ancestral lands of the Abenaki peoples. These lands and the Abenaki ancestors saw pandemics far worse than what we are now living through, brought on by forces of colonialism. They have seen endless environmental degradation brought on by indiscriminate clearing and development. Capitalism, colonialism, and imperialism have impacted all places and people on the earth, but have hit indigenous, black, low-income, and people of color first and worst. Living on these lands of the Pennacook, we have an obligation to do what we can to end the continued destruction caused by the climate and environmental crises. We also acknowledge the Anishinaabe people living for thousands of years on their ancestral land, now site of the land, the Line 3 tar sands oil pipeline. We stand in solidarity with those defending their land and water. We work in solidarity with all people struggling to lovingly coexist on this planet. So next, we have retired State Representative Chris Baltz to come and give a few words.
Greetings, everybody. Wow, that is loud. First, I just want to say thank you to everybody who helped to organize this. This is probably the best turnout for this kind of an action that I've seen in a long time, and certainly the signage is just spectacular. So everybody, you should give yourselves a hand for that. Fantastic. Thank you so much for coming. I know it's hard to give yourself a hand when you have gloves on. I am former Representative Chris Baltz. I retired at the end of this last term, and I'm actually really kind of happy the way things are going that I did. It's a little bit of a mess up there. I was also a science teacher for 40 years. And I'm really glad that we are here gathered right within sight of the Bank of America. Bank of America is an organization that claims both environmental and humanitarian concerns as being integral parts of their business code of ethics. Yet the Bank of America owns considerable stock in Enbridge Energy and extends Enbridge Energy millions of dollars in credit. Enbridge Energy has dedicated the majority of their received funds to a tar sands pipeline project that we all know as Line 3. The Line 3 project is a $7.5 billion pipeline. It's designed to transport 1 million barrels of tar sands crude 1,000 miles from Canada to the shores of Lake Superior every single day. Line 3 would be an abomination for 3 reasons. First reason, Line 3 is a climate bomb. The oil from tar sands is the most carbon intensive and toxic fuel on the planet. It's worse than coal. 4 tons of earth are destroyed to produce 1 single barrel of oil. Producing oil from tar sands releases 3 times as many greenhouse gases as refining crude oil. Second reason why it's an abomination, all pipelines leak, and Line 3 would leak too. Maybe I should speak more gently. In 2017, well, first of all, Enbridge has an abysmal record of pipeline leaks. In 2017, Enbridge's Keystone pipeline spilled 210,000 gallons of oil in South Dakota. And in 2018, they spilled an additional, the same pipeline spilled an additional 380,000 gallons of oil into North Dakota. Enbridge wants to build Line 3 pipeline through untouched wetlands and across the headwaters of the Mississippi River. Anybody who's got a half a brain knows that that is a recipe for disaster. Third reason why Line 3 would be an abomination. Line 3 would violate Indigenous rights. Line 3's route would violate the treaty rights of all the Anishinaabe people, including the Ojibwe, the Odawa, and the Potawatomis. The building of Line 3 would perpetuate the legacy of theft and destruction of indigenous lands for profit, and it must be stopped. So I'll say these things, and I hope I'm speaking for everybody here. Bank of America, we do not transition to sustainable energy by investing billions of dollars in fossil fuel infrastructure. We transition to sustainable energy by investing in sustainable energy. Bank of America, you do not honor your humanitarian code of ethics by aligning your interests with those who would steal and destroy indigenous lands. And finally, Bank of America, you do not honor your environmental code of ethics by aligning your interests with those who would develop the dirtiest energy on the planet that will impact this planet for generations to come. So Bank of America, we call on you to divest. Divest! It is me. Divest. 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 Divest all your interests in dirty oil. Divest. Divest all of your fossil fuel interests and instead invest in sustainable energy and become a bank that we can all be proud of. Become a bank that works for the people now and for the generations of tomorrow. Thank you.
Okay, so I'd like to introduce Bill Mckibben, founder of 350.org. He has a recorded message for us, and in just a minute it will begin. So yeah, here it first, Bill Mckibben.
Mckibben, other side of the Connecticut River over in Vermont. I wish I was with you there today. And, you know, Dr. Fauci and the vaccine system willing, it won't be too long before we're all together doing this kind of stuff. I'm really grateful to you guys for being out there today because this question around Line 3 couldn't be more important. I just finished a big fundraising event raising money to support the people who are on the very cold front lines out in Minnesota all this winter. And their bravery is remarkable, and their steadfastness is admirable. These are old friends of many of us, people like Winona LaDuke or Tara Huska, or the people at the GNU Collective and Honor the Earth and the Indigenous Environmental Network, and they're doing a tremendous job of bringing attention to this question around Line 3. It is an absurd violation of Indigenous sovereignty. Let's begin by saying that. It runs through places that are of extraordinary importance, including for any of you who've been in the Midwest, the beautiful, beautiful wild rice lakes that have so much economic, but even more ceremonial power in that part of the world. They're obviously an absurd extension of the climate threat precisely at the moment when we need to be moving in the other direction. As John Kerry said on his first day on the job as global climate czar, it's incredibly dumb to be building stuff that you know you're going to have to take down in 10 or 20 years. This is the definition of stranded assets, a pipeline running to the dirtiest oil on the planet that we don't need because, among other things, we're learning how to do with electricity all the things we used to do with oil, and we can generate that electricity cleanly. We just have to stand up to the people who own oil wells because they're the ones who don't want change ever to come. You're at the right place. It's Bank of America and Wells.
As most of you probably know, Extinction Rebellion, or XR, is a nonpartisan global environmental movement that uses that non-violent civil disobedience that Bill Mckibben just mentioned. We use that to compel government change or business change on the climate and the ecological crisis. I'm from the New Hampshire chapter. I think we have some other chapters here today. Is anybody else from another chapter here today? Maybe Vermont? Welcome, yay, terrific. As you know, we are here today to oppose the Enbridge Line 3 tar sands pipeline and to ask the banks who are financing it to cut their financing. I also ask you to consider donating to help the frontline defenders. You can go to stopline3.org. Also, look for the QR codes we have on posters. We've got various posters around here that have QR codes on them. You can get more info and you can donate. We've already heard a little bit about what Line 3 is, right? It's an oil tar sands pipeline owned by Enbridge, a Canadian company. Line 3 has actually been operating and leaking since 1968. Enbridge is responsible for the largest inland oil spill in the US, and now Enbridge is proposing a larger replacement pipeline that will run from Alberta, Canada, through Minnesota to Wisconsin. We do not need to expand the dying tar sands industry. We do not need another pipeline. We stand here in solidarity with our brothers and sisters in Minnesota who are fighting this pipeline. Here in southern New Hampshire, we know what it is like to fight a pipeline. In 2015, we gathered right here in this same square to fight the Ned pipeline. We know what it is like to see eminent domain abused. We know what it is like to lose our property to a private company in the name of public good. We know what it feels like when FERC and the Army Corps of Engineers put big business ahead of public health. Because of our shared struggles, we are here today to show our support for the continued struggle against Line 3. We know also that Wells Fargo and Bank of America fund toxic Enbridge. We're in a climate emergency, and yet Bank of America and Wells Fargo see nothing wrong with paying for Enbridge's Line 3, a deadly oil pipeline. So what can you do? Money talks. Take your money out of Bank of America and or Wells Fargo. Let the banks know that you do not support their funding of Line 3. Go to stopline3.org to donate to help frontline defenders. And now please join me. That's okay, the chant at the end you've already heard. BOA, you suck. You sold our future for $1. BOA, you suck. You sold our future for $1. BOA, you suck. You sold our future for $1. BOA, you suck. You sold our future for $1. BOA, you suck. You sold our future for $1. BOA, you suck. You sold our future for $1. BOA, you suck. You sold our future for $1.
Hi. How you doing? It's great to see you out here. Great to see a crowd of people. Yeah, I'm Representative Tony Kaplan. I'm a first-term rep from the town of Henniker, and it's an honor to be here with a crowd of great people standing in solidarity with our brothers and sisters across the country, putting themselves on the line to save our home, the only home we have as a species, the human race. For the 40 to 100,000 years of our presence on the planet Earth, our ancestors knew the wisdom of living in balance with the transcendent, in harmony with our mother, the stewardship of the Lord's garden. But we've forgotten. We've forgotten and lost our way. The planet has not forgotten. Our mother has not forgotten. And our indigenous first people, the remnants of the great Native American cultures that almost disappeared, with the onslaught of European colonial expansion. They have not forgotten. The scientists are also telling us in the language of cold hard facts that we've lost our way. We have about 10 years to find our way back, to decarbonize ourselves and our society, to get clean of our oil dependence. In the words of the IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the eyes and ears of our science-based Western culture, this move will require nothing less than unprecedented transition in all aspects of our society. Every year matters, every choice matters, every degree of warming matters if we want to save our house. This isn't some dystopian science fiction fantasy. We are living in an era of rapidly escalating climate change already. It is not too late, but it will require a mobilization greater than any we've ever seen. The good news is, people power is power. We shut down the Keystone Pipeline, and we will shut down the Enbridge Pipeline. This is the last stand of the fossil fuel industry in North America. This highly polluted, energy-intensive oil that they managed to suck out of the tar sands of Alberta like a junkie, snorting something off the floor of some ravaged apartment, would be the last insult, the last carbon bomb to keep the status quo and save the bottom line of the oil barons. You know, economists like to talk about bottom lines. It makes them sound like they know what they're talking about. But economy in the original Greek, oikos is home, nomia is management. It means managing your house. Here's the bottom line in our house. No more fossil fuel infrastructure. No more subsidies for the fossil fuel companies. No more pipelines. No more oil, no more coal, no more natural gas. Immediate transition to a renewable-based power grid, transportation grid, and food system. Respect Native American treaty rights. And let's march together to keep a viable home for ourselves and our children, and our children's children down to the 7th generation. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to say a few words? Oh, Pat Martin is right here.
Just real quick, a year ago, we were here protesting Bank of America when they were still building the Granite Bridge pipeline. So I want you to reflect on the fact that Granite Bridge pipeline is dead. So, and Jen Doobie, where are you, Jen? Jen Doobie led that fight. I also, Maddie, do you want me to say something? I want to introduce Maddie Springfield. She started a Fridays for Future climate strike in Jaffrey.
Hello everyone, just quick, my name is Maddie, and if you live near Jaffrey, every Friday we do a Fridays for Future global climate strike that Greta Thunberg had started. We stand for about an hour in Jaffrey, so if you're interested in coming every Friday morning, come talk to me, and hopefully we can grow the youth movement here in this area. Thank you for coming.
So we are here every Friday, and it depends on the week, but if you join our Facebook page, Fridays for Future Jaffrey, New Hampshire, you can see our posts. We post photos, we post when we're going to meet here every week. So come join us every Friday to strike for the climate and make this world a better place for everyone.